Breaking news here on Seattle Seahawks today. Former Pro Bowl corner Shaquill Griffin is making his return to Seattle. Tyler Schultz, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. The news coming in just a few moments ago from Fox Sports' Jordan Schultz that Griffin will make his triumphant return to Seattle, where he began his career for the former third-round pick, who's played for a couple of different teams since leaving the Hawks, including the likes of the Vikings, Panthers, Texans, and Jags. And now this will give some much-needed help to the corner room for Seattle. The news coming just a little while ago from Jordan Schultz of Fox Sports, who put this out. Sources: former Pro Bowl cornerback Shaquill Griffin is signing with the Seahawks. Griffin had 2 interceptions in 6 pass breakups for the Vikings last season. More from Schultz saying Shaquill Griffin began his career with the Seahawks after being drafted in the 3rd round, playing 4 seasons with the team and making a Pro Bowl. Now he is back and returning to Seattle. I really like this move for the Seahawks. And you go back in time a little bit to when Josh Jobe was re-signed on that 1-year, $2 million deal. And Jobe started most of the season last year with the injuries that occurred. And Josh Jobe did a decent job, but I don't think any of us really felt too comfortable with the idea of him being the full-time starter at that position in 2025. And even Mike McDonald felt that way, as there was a quote that he said around that time when they brought back Jobe that he believed the philosophy from the great Ozzie Newsome, the great Baltimore Ravens executive, who said you can never have too many cornerbacks, and that he felt like that they wanted some competition for Josh Jobe. So this makes a ton of sense. Shaq is still a solid player in this league. Are you getting the Pro Bowl caliber corner that we saw a few years ago? Probably not, in all honesty, but that doesn't mean he's a bad football player by any stretch of the imagination. This provides some much-needed depth to the position. I think now what happens is that Josh Jobe becomes a quality backup to be behind Griffin and Witherspoon and Woolen in that sense, and you have a real competition at this outside corner spot. I'm not completely ruling out that Josh Jobe won't be the starting outside corner. I don't think he will. I think Shaq Griffin will ultimately win that job. But even with that said, let the best man win. Iron sharpens iron. Both of them should embrace that competition, and I think it'll be great for both parties involved and for the Seahawks as well to have multiple options potentially to work with now. I think this is a brilliant move on the part of John Schneider and Mike McDonald. What is your one-word reaction to the signing of Shaquill Griffin? I'll give you my one word coming up in just a moment, but I want to hear from you guys first way in the comments section and let us know. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today. We got this news literally just a little while ago. We put a YouTube short out immediately, and then we brought you a video here on the channel. Instant reaction, breaking news analysis. Doesn't matter if we're in the studio or if I'm at home at the Jones Zone. We are going to bring you up to the minute of everything happening with your favorite team. And if you can do us a favor, the easiest way you can help out and support this show is by subscribing, and that way you can stay up to date with every move that is going on with your Seattle Seahawks. We're closing in on 68,000 subscribers. I believe we're just about 60 away from reaching that milestone. So hit that sub button, subscribe now for free, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. You'll be glad you did. My one word is reunion. This is a welcomed return for Shaq Griffin. I've always been a big fan of him and his family, his brother, of course, with an incredible story. And it was great when they were both here in Seattle. And he comes back after leaving on good terms. I don't think anybody had anything negative to say about Shaq Griffin when he departed the first go-round. So he'll step back in, and I know this team looks a hell of a lot different than the last time he was here, but he will be a guy that will be viewed as a good team guy, and that is going to be well-liked by his teammates and certainly feel right at home back in Seattle as if he had never left. Let's tell you more about his resume, the former 2017 third-round pick out of the University of Central Florida, where he won a national championship, some would say. A played for a few different teams since leaving Seattle, most recently the Vikings, along with the Panthers, the Texans, and the Jags. We mentioned the Pro Bowl nod back in 2019. And this was somebody that Seattle has had interested in here in free agency. I know this signing feels like it kind of comes out of left field today, but if you were watching this channel, one of the reasons why you subscribe is we cover every single rumor out there, and we tell you everything before it happens. And we were all over the meeting that he had with Seattle several weeks ago, and we told you on this channel that it was a very realistic possibility. And, not to kind of toot our own horn here for a second, folks, but, I mean, some of y'all get so upset and butthurt about all these rumors that we cover here on the channel, but we told you what was going to happen, and it did happen. And every single move the Seahawks have made this offseason, we've been all over it here on the channel, telling you ahead of time, hey, this could happen. This is a possibility. And we touch our crystal ball and stuff happens. And this goes along with that as well, even if we had to wait a few weeks for all to happen. More on Shaq Griffin. Let's go over those numbers of what he's done in the last 4 seasons. This past year with the Vikings, he accounted for 41 tackles, 1 TFL, 6 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. Pretty decent numbers there. The year prior to that, in Houston and Carolina, he had 39 tackles, 5 pass breakups, and 1 interception. 2022, only played in 5 games, but had 29 tackles, 3 TFLs, 4 pass breakups. And then the year before that in Jacksonville, had 49 tackles and 7 pass breakups. His numbers in coverage last year, he really held his own. And it was numbers that you're looking for from a starting outside corner with a completion percentage allowed below 55%. Only gave up 2 touchdowns. QB rating allowed was just a 75.8 with those 6 pass breakups and 2 touchdowns. It was really good what we saw from him on that front. Meanwhile, let's go over some more statistics here for you. Let's start with his first 4 years in Seattle, the PFF grades, I guess we're going with here. Okay. The numbers for the PFF grades of what he did. 2017 had an overall grade of 65.3, a pass rush grade of 80.5, a run defense grade of 69.7, and a coverage grade of 63. So solid numbers across the board. 2018, his overall grade wasn't great, 54.7, pass rush grade of 56.2, run defense grade of 67.1, and a coverage grade of 51.9. Then he had a bit of a bounce-back season in 2019. That was the year that he was selected to a Pro Bowl campaign with an overall grade of 77.0, pass rush grade of 57.6, run defense grade really strong, 74, coverage grade really strong, 76. And then in 2020, his grades across the board, not terrible, 64.1 overall, 64.9 pass rush, 59.5 run defense, and a coverage grade of 63.6. His numbers of those 4 seasons in Seattle, we mentioned the Pro Bowl nod was in 2019 when he had a total of 13 pass breakups. But he was doing a really good job of creating turnovers his last year here in 2020 with 3 interceptions, 12 pass breakups, and 63 tackles. 2 interceptions in 2018 along with 8 pass breakups. And then that 2017 season had 1 interception and 15 pass breakups. Some solid numbers there in his 4 years that he was here previously. How would you grade the signing of Shaq Griffin? I'll give you a grade here in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys. Weigh in, let us know. Whip out your red pen, ABCDRF. Tell me what you think in the comments section below. The 4th of July is almost here. It is time to celebrate the greatest country on earth while also representing your favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks, at the same time. We have 4th of July USA Seahawks shirts on sale now at chatsports.com/SeahawksUSA is where you can get these today. All sorts of different shapes and sizes available. We also have plenty of Seahawks gear to your liking besides just what you're seeing on your screen at that same link. Go see for yourself now. Chatsports.com/SeahawksUSA to get yours today. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Now, we're still waiting on some numbers and contract terms and all that, but I'm going with an A here. And personally, I'd rather start him over Josh Jobe. If it were up to me, I think that's probably the best plan of action here for Seattle with Griffin's experience, with seeing what he's done at a high level. But that doesn't mean we won't see Josh Jobe either. You're 1 injury away from needing Josh Jobe to play a significant role. I think he can be a good backup. And as I've stated before, when it comes to Josh Jobe, I don't like the idea of Josh Jobe starting 17 games, but I don't mind a spot start here and there. And whether that's if Griffin, Woolen, or Witherspoon goes down, Josh Jobe can step in and be a quality backup. And now you take it a step further and you look at this depth chart and you can say to yourself, okay, now we got some pieces to work with. We have some real depth that this team has. You brought in Jean Charles. You got Williams, of course, Pritchett, among others here. Now you have some pieces that you can potentially work with, and you can feel a lot better about this corner room. I also think by bringing in Shaq Griffin, that closes the door on any possibility that you are going to trade for Jalen Ramsey. And, of course, they didn't sign Jair Alexander last week as he ended up joining his former teammate Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens. So then the question becomes, now that you've got corner taken care of, the other spot that you could potentially still add on this defense is Trey Hendrickson. And I think that because you're not going to add a corner here, I'm very intrigued because we've seen more and more rumblings about this in the last week or two about this being a possibility. And Trey Hendrickson doesn't appear to be anywhere closer to getting a contract done with the Cincinnati Bengals at this point. So Trey Hendrickson, I think that might be the next play here for Seattle. I like the Shaq Griffin signing. Now let's see if they can go get Trey Hendrickson next. And then all of a sudden we're talking about with these additions and what you already have here, you could have one of, if not the best defenses in the NFL if you make that happen. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.